Hello and welcome back to the Puncher's Chance podcast with myself, Sam Hill, and as always I'm joined by
Harry Tovey
and
Ben Thomas.
And in today's episode we're going to be having a look back at the Jordan Gill Zelfa Barett card, looking at some audio clips from the world of boxing, talking about Sonny Edwards' return to the ring, and then previewing next weekend's fights, headlined with, of course, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. To jump straight into this weekend's fights, I mean, there was a load of different cards across different platforms and stuff. A couple of things to touch on quickly. Charlie Edwards returned to the ring against George Zori, WBC International Silver Bantamweight belt, which obviously he won unanimous decision. How good was it to see him back and obviously fighting at a fairly top level again?
Yeah, it's been ages since he's been in the ring in it, and yeah, good performance from him. Comfortable win in the end. I think he won it by 5 or 6 rounds on all the judges' scorecards, maybe a bit more, but
6 rounds.
Good 10-round contest. Got the rounds in that he needed, and I think you probably need maybe another 1 or 2 before he starts looking at world title fights, but it's a good start for him.
I thought it was a very good performance, and I didn't know why he was out of the ring for so long as well. So when he came out afterwards and started crying, I thought, wow, fair play for him for stepping back into the ring, and to have someone like Sonny Edwards as well in his corner. I think that helped, obviously, his brother, but yeah, decent performance. And it's just the thing I want to point on. The worst thing about the card was that we couldn't watch the entire thing in the UK.
Yeah, that's the only shame.
It's a British card, but no one in the UK could watch it apart from the main event and 2 other fights after it.
Yeah, so it seemed a bit bizarre that, but it's the way it happened. It was like with the Dillian White card recently, we couldn't watch either for whatever bizarre reason. But that's the way it happens sometimes. And then on to the Jordan Gill Zelfa Barett card, obviously to start somewhere down near the bottom of the card. We had Brandon Scott, a friend of the channel, someone we've met a couple of times, fighting back now with 2 hands. 1 points decision over the 6 rounds. Was actually quite a difficult test in the end for him. Was it still an impressive performance, or were we maybe expecting a little bit more from Brandon? Not to take away from anything his opponent was obviously a difficult one.
I think you'll be happy with it. That Argentinian, he came to fight, and that's what you want early on in your career. You don't want to be fighting people that are just going there for the payday. You want someone there that's going to test you, and he got proper tested, and what was it? What was the scorecard?
4 rounds to 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it could have been close to a draw. I didn't have it a draw. I thought 4 rounds to 2 was fair, but yeah, a good test for him, and should move on from there with a lot of experience.
Yeah, you're going to learn more from fights like that rather than just a 6-round contest where you just won every round comfortably. And could see good movement from him. The thing that won him the fight was hand speed, I think. Mm-hmm. His hands were just quicker. And when he planted his feet and got the combinations off, I think that's when he looked at his best. But I think maybe the last 1 or 2 rounds, you could see that he hadn't been in the ring in a good while. Probably just the pace of the fight catching up in the end, but that'll come over time now, the more he's active throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah.
A few more fights.
I can't believe as well that he was first on the card.
Yeah, that seems mental. That because you saw as well with the presser beforehand, where obviously he announced Sonny Edwards is going to be part of his management team, and there was the whole Spider-Man thing, and
that was brilliant, by the way.
Yeah, it's just it's more to a show, and I think I'm not doing Eddie's job for him, and I'm sure Eddie will in due time put Brandon on the big stage, and we'll see that. But it seems like with his character that goes with his evident ability. I mean, to beat a guy with a 5-5 record when you're 6-0 isn't that's not something to question. That's around about where you should be in your career for that point. You're not expecting people to be beating people with huge winning records in their 6th, 7th fight.
That's his first 6-round fight as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think now he just needs a couple more fights.
He did look a bit tired as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that's just from not being in the ring for so long, wasn't it? It's
yeah, that would do it.
It was a tough fight. He had to box well in the end and be smarter there with the movement and things like that, but he'd done the job at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And someone then on the slight different end of the spectrum, he probably didn't look so tired at the end of the fight, and never has done. Jack Turner, 6-round contest versus Abdulkazi Ungaoma, but won it in the first round knockout. The only the 6th first round knockout of his 6-fight career. Not bad going.
Only. What a prospect.
How special does he look? I mean, it's at bantamweight to be doing that as well. You tend to see less and less finishes, and then you get down to the lower records, and lower weight divisions, and you don't see many people with 100% knockouts, and he's got it in his first 6 fights, first round every single time.
Yeah, he's got serious power, hasn't he? And he doesn't mess about. Like, you see fighters, I think sometimes at the start of their career, will like look to bank the rounds and get the experience in, but he's just going in there and flattening everyone. And that's what, like you said, especially at that weight class, I think as many fighters at that weight class, they just go in there and can have such power for every fight.
He's already fought 3 times as well this year.
What, in 2024?
Yeah, Dubai, on the undercard of Conor Butler, Jay Harris. I think that's the first time I set eyes on him. But yeah, Saturday night, wow. Tony Bellew weren't lying when he said he's the next big thing out of Liverpool, and yeah, hopefully they get him out as quickly as possible, because unbelievable.
I think as well, when you're getting first round knockouts, you're not getting hurt, so you can keep fighting. And
it's just statement after statement after statement. Like,
it's not going to happen forever. It's not going to continue to happen forever. But
it might just be a thing now of his next few fights probably need a bit of a tougher test. So
go for a title now, ain't it? Surely.
Yeah, probably got
or get someone in. Because
English title or something, maybe.
Yeah, because I think he's up into the sort of top 5-10 British bantamweights now. You've got obviously Charlie Edwards and trying to think other names, maybe the likes of Ashley Lane, Paul Butler, Prince Patel, people like that. But like, yeah, he seems to be ready. He is up there, and with the record he's got,
is the bantamweight champion, so he's just won.
I think Ashley Lane takes on Charlie Edwards next. I agree with what Steve Bunt said.
Yeah, quite possibly. But Friday. I think that's he's
there's so many good fights he could have.
He's propelled himself right up there, and you're starting to talk about him at a serious level, because the kind of people that like we just said with Brandon Scott, you should be having rounds with and doing at this point in your career. He just seems too good for at this point, which is quite something.
El Terrier as well.
Yeah,
his nickname. What a nickname.
And then Michael Gomez Jr., another knockout on the card, 6th round knockout over Kane Baker. That was one I didn't predict. I predicted that to go down to the distance, and Ben, obviously, I think you predicted that one to be a knockout. I missed this one. I was driving down from Yorkshire, but I don't know what you boys made of his performance. I know.
Don't rate the commitment there.
Shocking
Jesus.
From me. I should be on my phone while I drive. Really, I need to do better.
It was a good scrap between the two of them. I think Gomez Jr. had to deal with. I think he got cut over the right eye in the 2nd or 3rd round. But
was it a headbutt? I can't remember now if it was a headbutt or actually.
I'm not sure if it was a clash, but yeah, he got
by head
ended
clash.
Up dropping him twice in the 2nd round, and yeah, it was a good win for him. Now was that English title obviously going to step on now, probably looking at British level, and obviously after you've won that. But Kane Baker, he's like, look at his record, was it now 19 wins, 11 losses.
It was 19-10 going into it.
Yeah, he's always a very good fighter. He'll always turn up, and he definitely turned up to try and win the fight, not just take part. So
he'll be back, Kane Baker.
Yeah.
But yeah. And Michael Gomez Jr. thingied up my predictions Saturday night. Ruined my evening.
Yeah.
Because you just constantly had Ben coming into the chat. 5 points for me.
5 points for me.
5 points for me.
I'll take the 2.
Exactly.
If you're listening and you don't know what we're about, the Boxing News app has a predictions platform. We use it to sort of base off our predictions. Ben got the win this week, which means me and Ben are 2-2. Harry's how many have you won, Harry? Have you won?
Well, before we started doing yeah. All right, fair enough.
Harry's yet to win, unfortunately, but
I'll win the most important one.
Oh, he says.
That one doesn't count that week.
Oh yeah, because you don't believe in your prediction.
You look at Michael Gomez Jr. What's next for him? Are you talking maybe Liam Dillon, someone like that, who's fought at a top level?
I want to say the name. They said the name.
Bellotti obviously won against Dillon to get the British and the Commonwealth. So that, obviously could be the next fight for him as the English champion. Or, he could take that Dillon fight as someone who Bellotti beat.
Yeah.
Though I don't know if that makes sense in this case, because I think the Dillon Bellotti fight was such a good fight, so close. I don't know necessarily if
it's not as if Bellotti blew him out of the water.
Yeah, so it's not really like, this is like a tester to see if you're ready for the Bellotti fight, because you could lose to Dillon and still be good enough to beat Bellotti. Like, that's not. It's more so sort of a style matchup in that sense. Certainly one to look out for in the top British prospect out of the super featherweight division. And then Rhiannon Dixon for the WBO World Light Heavyweight title. She's obviously was the European champion, Commonwealth champion going into the fight. And I thought she looked really good against Elizabeth Carabajal. Obviously dropped her in the third round. There was a cut for both of them with a head clash. But yeah, I thought Dixon was quite impressive over the course of the performance.
Yeah, a comfortable win for her in the end. And world champion after just 10 fights. That's a good effort. Obviously, I know it.
No amateur experience as well.
Yeah, straight from, White Collar, and then obviously been training with Anthony Crawler. He's got the best out of her, and she's world champion already. And I think Caroline Dubois was already putting wheels in motion to get that unification fight next now. So
well, what happened last week, that's never going to happen. Boxer and Matchroom working together, let's be honest.
Maybe not.
But I think she probably still needs maybe a defence of the title first before you look at trying to set up that fight with Dubois. But if that fight can even happen with the whole Matchroom and boxer drama, but
yeah, it'd be a shame if it didn't. And I do really like Dixon. I think she seems like a really raw prospect. She's not, by no means is she a finished article. She's still got a lot to work on. But just style wise, she's not particularly orthodox in terms of fight. I mean, even the knockdown she got, I mean, out of the southpaw stance, obviously slipped the punch and a straight left. It was the movement from her, like, she doesn't move her feet so much or necessarily her head. It's almost like a whole upper body she uses to slip the punches, and it worked. Her opponent, who was, let's not forget, 22-1 going into this fight, just couldn't get anywhere near her.
Yeah. What about Hyun Min Chao? I think I've said it. Probably butchered her name. South Korean. She's the number 1 in the world.
Yeah,
if they can't make that Caroline Dubois fight.
Yeah, it could be a good one, but then obviously that doesn't have. I don't believe she has.
She's got the world titles, I think.
I think she's got the WBA Gold. I think it is. Maybe she maybe have one. So there could be a fight to be made with Dixon there, but certainly Dixon now 10-0 is one that we're going to be looking at to get some more world titles and challenge going forward. And then another British female fighter, another world title fight in the form of Ellie Scotney versus Ségolène Lefebvre. The French woman came into it 18-0, looked like he was going to be a difficult prospect for Scotney, and Scotney looked really, really good in there again. She
shut her up straight away, didn't she?
I mean, I said beforehand after I predicted Lefebvre to win on points, I believe, but when I saw her come out in that Man United shirt, I was like, yeah, she's lost it now.
You did say that straight away.
She's lost it. Shocking effort that is. You've sold yourself the loss on that fight. But I'll look past that for a moment. She just didn't have enough power, didn't have enough strength.
She couldn't keep her off, could she?
Scotney was... The thing is, you can be a taller fighter and you can have a great jab and you can use that jab really well. But if the smaller fighter doesn't care about your jab, is happy to eat that jab on the way in because it's not doing her any damage, then you're gonna be in it for a long day. And I think that's what it was. Scotney never really was scared of anything that Lefebvre could do.
No, she was just walking her down through the whole fight, and she was willing to take shots to land as many as she wanted, and so made her a comfortable night for her.
9-0 and a multiple world champion.
It's impressive stuff.
Fair play to her.
It is impressive stuff. And
Erica Cruz Hernandez next, probably makes sense for her.
Yeah, I think that's the fight that makes sense. And I just think with Ellie Scotney,
never doubt her as well.
Yeah, you can never
after that performance.
I think she's really well suited to those 10 2-minute rounds. I just think that her style wise really suits that. She can really just win rounds, which is what you've got to do. You've got to go out and win rounds. You haven't got that long to do your work. So you can't be waiting around, building into a fight because you're already 3, 4, 5 rounds down, and then it's a long haul from there. And then the main event. What a main event it was, I thought, for a fight that didn't actually have any belts on the line officially.
It deserved to have belts on the line, didn't it?
Yeah, but it almost had like an imaginary belt on the line, which was that you get to go on and fight at a higher level.
A fast pass.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought up until the stoppages, I thought Jordan Gill was looking quite good. I mean, the scorecards from the referees, one of them I think had Zelfa Barett up by 4,
No.
Barrett was up on all the judges' scorecards by the end of the fight.
Which I didn't agree with that. I thought Jordan did some really, really good work. His defence in those early rounds was really impressive. Was able to get Zelfa Barett to miss, and then was able to land, a multitude of shots. And maybe it goes down to one of those ones where they felt that Barrett's shots were more effective, and obviously eventually got the drop. So
you look at his face compared to Barrett's face, then maybe.
Yeah, but I think there was also maybe a little bit of Barrett's. They knew what they were expecting from Barrett, which was power, and so when you land those shots and you have the people know you've got power in your hands, maybe the judges are scoring that, saying, "Oh well, we know Barrett's shots are hurting him,"
and it was in his hometown as well. Maybe that might have played a factor. But yeah, what a fight! These British fights are just getting better and better and better, aren't they?
Yeah, I think everyone we've watched so far this year has been really good. But
when we come to the end of the year and we go, "Oh, what's our top 10 fights?" I think we have to do top 50.
Yeah, I'm not
just because of how many good ones there have been.
We might have to do top 5 or whatever, and then do top 5 non-British title fights.
You have to do 10 fights. I can't say the same fights as you, and then we can make 30.
Yeah.
And something. Yeah.
But we can't. We'll have the British one. We'll have to have a separate list because I think they just dominate. They're such good fights. If you're not British and you don't tune into these fights, like we don't with some American fights, and I'm sure it goes the other way as well, but you're missing out because these British fights, headlining cards, are 9 times out of 10 absolute barnstormers, best fights of the night.
You've got to give it to Barrett. Mind a good stoppage in the end.
Yeah.
When he I think most people watching it would have thought he might have needed to do something to swing the scorecards wrong, but he was winning anyway. But good stoppage with the body shots. I think once he caught him, he hurt him. But I think Barrett, he just doesn't trust his hands enough sometimes when you're watching him. I think he doesn't trust in his power enough. I think the best of him is when he plants his feet and he's letting his shots go, and that's where he got his success, and that's ultimately what won him the fight with when he stood there, planted his feet, got the body shot, and that ended it.
Yeah, fair play for Jordan as well for getting up after the first one as well. What a warrior!
Yeah, and I mean he got up after the second one as well. It's not like he stayed down. The ref obviously stopped the fight because he was.
The first one, I thought, oh, it's over, yeah. Yeah. Then when he got up, I was like,
and as well, for anyone who's been hit with a body shot like that, it is sickening. There's no way.
Balls are getting hit.
No way you're getting up from one. Most of the time, you get hit by one of those, you just want to just curl up and die. It's not fun. And he never says quit, and that's one thing you can always say about Jordan Gill.
What a story though for Zelfa Barett from the estate, sitting up in the gods, watching Ricky Hatton, Anthony Crolla, and all. So now main event in his hometown, in the home arena. Fair play to him.
And obviously with Barrett now, he'll probably go on to a world title shot. I think they were looking at the possibility of Joe Cordina being one.
Be a good fight, that.
So where he's going, but might be a bit more difficult now to see where Jordan Gill goes after that, because
Shaki Foster.
Will he have a world title shot or after just losing that fight?
Yeah, I don't know. You go realistically. I mean, you're back in then Britain, and you're looking at the likes of Bellotti and Dillon and.
But after that performance, though, I think.
Oh yeah, he's still there.
He certainly can compete at that level, and we've seen that.
Zelfa's the one that's proved he deserves that step up now to a world title. Obviously, Zelfa's already fought once against Rakhimov for a world title, and
did quite well against him.
He dropped Rakhimov that night and could have probably won the fight again if he had trusted himself a bit more, planted himself and had a go at him. But maybe he'll learn from that now, learn from the fight on the weekend, and he could give a tough test to whatever champion he goes on to face.
I don't see Gill retiring, though. Imagine Gill and Mauricio Lara.
Yeah, I certainly don't see Gill retiring. I think he's got... No. If he does retire, I think it would be a shame, because I think he's got fights in him. And yeah, it's just... I enjoy watching him. He's a likeable guy. There's no reason why I'd want him to retire now, but if he wants to, who are we to suggest he should keep fighting, beyond that. And quickly, you mentioned it as well, Ricky Hatton, obviously. Ricky Hatton, how many times did he get mentioned throughout that? I know he gave the belt...
Ellie Scotney, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Ring Magazine belt, so that...
yeah. That's bad.
That was last minute. Well, it was a last minute addition, and they didn't have the belt in person, so he donated his belt. And I know that, but he just got mentioned. I know it was in Manchester, but so many times in that night, I think I could have counted like 10, 15 times they mentioned Ricky Hatton.
You obviously don't watch like the UFC and all, where they go, this round is now sponsored by Prime Hydration, and they go through all like what's in the drink, and they do it every single round.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would do my head in. That would.
Imagine if you got paid just to say Michelin tyres.
Don't get me wrong, I'd do it. Like, if anyone's listening, if any brands are listening, if you want me to read between every segment, I will do it.
Hello and welcome to the Puncher's Chance podcast in association with Tesco's, where you can get all the good deals.
In association with, I don't know, who could we get? I don't want to give any free promo.
Tony Borg, CBD.
Yeah, true. Great CBD, I've heard, if that's what you're into. Anyway, to move on from that, onto some of the audio clips from the world of boxing. Got some slightly sort of out of their audio clips. The first one is Eddie Hearn talking to No Smoke Boxing about somebody who he may or may not be putting on a certain 5v5 card some point soon.
I've had my differences with Deontay Wilder. It will be very difficult to do. But selfishly, on my side, I want the best heavyweight I can sign for June the 1st. And Wilder would be right up there, being honest. Like there's probably discussions going on right now between 4 or 5 heavyweights that we don't work with to take that slot on June 1st.
So obviously that is Deontay Wilder who was talking about on the 5v5 card, who unfortunately this episode, when we're recording it, they haven't been announced yet. They're going to be announced the evening, so the Monday evening that we're recording this. So you guys listening might know if Deontay Wilder's fighting or not. But are there any better heavyweights out there that aren't signed to anyone that Eddie Hearn could bring in, or is Deontay Wilder realistically the only person you could stick in the ring with Gill Zhang and have a hope of putting him out of there?
I can't think of any other names.
I think that's the best option at this point now, but
they can't put Johnny Fisher in there now, can they? He's not experienced enough.
I think realistically what you'd be doing is you'd be throwing someone to the lions that you didn't need to. Deontay Wilder, maybe it's a slight strategy from Eddie Hearn as well. 43-3 now, Deontay Wilder. Eddie Hearn has no vested interest in Deontay Wilder's career. Yeah, I don't think Eddie could, other than the fact that he's fighting on his behalf, could care less whether or not Wilder loses. So I think from him, it's just throw him in there. He could get a knockout win. He's Deontay Wilder. We've seen it. He's always got the power to put anyone out of the ring.
Do we see Derek Chisora or Dillian White tonight at the press conference come out?
From what we've seen over the last 24 hours, it seems pretty settled on what they're going with.
Willie Hutchinson, Hamza Shiraz, Ray Ford?
Yeah, I think more than likely the list we've seen. But in terms of heavyweights, I think it's going to be Wilder, Hrgovic from Matchroom, and then Dubois and Zhang for
Queensberry. I think Hrgovic is a guarantee.
I think Dubois is a guarantee as well.
Because Hrgovic is the best heavyweight that Matchroom have got to offer, really.
And he's not even a Matchroom fighter as well. He's a co-promoted.
Yeah, and then Dubois, I think, like you say, makes sense for Queensberry because he's not really going to be getting too many other fights in the near future because obviously a lot of the top heavyweights in the world are busy at the moment.
Tyson Fury wants him after the press conference last week.
Yeah, possibly.
The thing I'd have in the back of my mind, though, if I was Eddie Hearn, if he has signed Wilder and he puts Wilder in against Zhang and he goes in and beats Zhang, that's an opportunity and for you to build Wilder back up for Wilder against Joshua.
Yeah,
true. In the summer.
And then it's easy to make if both of them signed on the Matchroom.
Yeah, you could then obviously say,
he'd
beat Zhang, who people are calling for AJ to fight, and so
could be a knockout for that fight, man. Could it? Like whoever wins that then goes and faces AJ. Because I don't see AJ facing Joseph Parker.
No, maybe not.
I'd like to see Joseph Parker and Joe Joyce or something, maybe.
No.
Well, we've been
Parker
seeing
and
Joseph
Dillian
Parker.
White. I think either
Avengers
Joe Joyce or
loss.
Dillian White is the one that makes sense. Avenge the losses against them to win.
He walks through him now, Joseph Parker.
I don't know about Joe Joyce because Joe Joyce battered him. But
I'm going off what we've seen the last year of Joe Joyce, and
but
I think he walks through him.
Quite possibly.
So who are we saying then? Who's Eddie Hearn going to bring in then? Let's make a prediction.
Wilder and
Hergovic.
Okay,
I don't think
we'll all go for the same.
I can't think of anyone else he could put in there.
Unless he pulls off the big,
Luis Ortiz.
unless he just decides
Andy
to
Ruiz just comes out of nowhere.
chuck AJ in.
Problem is, as well as I don't actually know who is with somebody and not, if that makes sense. Otto Varlin maybe,
Nah.
but I think
After that performance,
Eddie knows he was kidding everyone when he was bigging up Varlin to be this, or he could test AJ sort of thing.
he could have.
Yeah,
He did it to Fury.
Frank Sanchez maybe.
Jarrell Miller.
I don't know who Frank Sanchez is signed to.
But he's fighting May 18th anyway.
Yeah,
isn't he?
he's fighting.
Of course. So yeah, that's
I
not
think it's
happening.
going to be Wilder. It's got to be
Almost certainly.
He was in London with Mauricio Sullivan.
yeah.
So.
And then to jump on a little bit from that, why move away from the heavyweight division when you haven't got to? Fury on the Queensberry Twitter was talking, or it was on the Queensberry press conference that they've put up on their Twitter now, on 10 fights that he's going to have before he retires. So let's see what list of 10 different fights he reckons he'll squeeze in before retirement.
Shall I just name the 10?
You might as well.
I'll do Usyk. Yeah. I'll do AJ if you don't get beaten in the meantime. That's 4. And then I might chuck a Dubois in if he's back up there, which he is at the moment, or a Joe Joyce.
Joe Parker,
chuck him in there.
mate,
That's 7. 7. Go to America. We'll chuck in some maybe Deontay Wilder if he gets back in a 4th fight with old Deontay. Maybe a European guy, maybe Agid Kabayel. Probably do like a trilogy with like Usyk or something afterwards.
So that was a slightly interesting clip. I think what I enjoyed about that most is the sheer confidence he had in himself to name 10, and how he failed after 4 to come up with any more reasonable shouts. After AJ,
He's been at the edge.
or Usyk, AJ, he was like, and then like maybe Dubois, and then he was like, I mean, Deontay Wilder 4.
I like the roadmap, though.
Who is asking for Deontay Wilder? Who's asking for Deontay Wilder 4? Realistically,
not just Deontay Wilder 4, but also in about 4 or 5 years' time.
Yeah, and Joe Joyce, and Joseph Parker, and Daniel Dubois. And this is obviously, at this point, he's suggesting he's won every single one of these fights. So we're looking at a 44-0 Tyson Fury, a 43-0 Tyson Fury,
Floyd Mayweather
getting in the ring with, at the end, an Usyk.
retire when he's 50. He will.
Mental.
Imagine that.
Realistically, it's 2 Usyk fights and an AJ fight, maybe. Or 2 AJ fights.
But
I reckon he's got 5 fights left.
He retires after the AJ fights, I reckon.
if he loses, like I predict him to, like if he loses to
That's if he
Usyk,
even gets-
loses to AJ.
So you think Fury retires at the end of 2024?
I mean, no, I think he loves money, so he will keep fighting. Realistically,
I think we're missing another one. He wants Ngannou rematch.
Yeah, could do.
The Ngannou, yeah.
And I wouldn't mind seeing that again, man.
I think 5 at very most.
Definitely not 10.
No.
And
you could probably push 6 or
out of
7 as well.
interest,
And then you get into 10.
You may as well do the 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of interest, out of those names he mentioned, obviously other than Usyk and AJ, which one fight would you pick out as his 5th? So for Zane, he's having 5. 2
He didn't
Usyk,
even
2
mention
AJ.
Ngannou, innit?
No, so Ngannou not an option. So you're talking Deontay Wilder 4, AJ or Usyk 3,
No.
Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker, Agit Kabayel, or Deontay. Well, I said Deontay Wilder 4. That's your 5.
I'd pick...
Or Daniel Dubois. Sorry, that's your 6.
I'd pick Joseph Parker, just because I really like Joseph Parker, and I'd like for him to have another big payday.
Do it in New Zealand as well.
Yeah, just...
That'd be
because them two are good, mate. No, they'd probably do it in Morecambe, wouldn't they?
Yeah, probably.
Morecambe football ground.
Imagine that Fury retires at Morecambe FC.
Wouldn't be bad going. What
Not
about
bad.
you? Which one would you pick?
Johnny Fisher. I know he's on the list.
Johnny.
I'm looking
Fisher.
ahead to the future. I'm only joking. I reckon he does the trilogy with Usyk.
Okay, that's based off
'Cause
of...
I think he beats him May 18th, then he beats him again, and then Usyk's going to build himself back up, and then the trilogy comes along.
I'm going to throw out a rogue one. I'm going to say an unbeaten Agit Kabayel. Let's say he beats Frank Sanchez.
He's big.
25-0 at that point. People would have to start talking about him up towards... And
I'm
we saw
surprised
him...
hardly no one's talking about him now, and after his performance against Makhmedov,
I know,
Yeah.
he's a decent
He's a
decent
really
fighter,
good
but
heavyweight.
He's just down the pecking order.
We've also seen him, and we've seen him play that sort of giant slayer role against Makhmudov. So
that could be an interesting one for Joe Parker.
I think Agit Kabayel could be an interesting fight for just about any of the top heavyweights. I wouldn't be able to say with 100% confidence any one of them would walk through him, just because I think he is a really tidy fighter. And he's unbeaten. Like, yes, he's from Germany, so he hasn't necessarily gotten all the opportunities a lot of these fighters have. But he's a 24-0 fighter. You've got to start asking questions.
He's the next big thing from Germany, and they haven't had that in many years. So.
Unless, of course, Frank Sanchez knocks him out, and then maybe not. But we'll see.
That fight is so good when you look at it.
Yeah,
Frank
absolutely.
Sanchez and actually.
And then another brilliant fight, another barnstormer, and one we haven't talked about too much, but the press conference is going on right now. Beterbiev versus Bivol. Lyndon Arthur they spoke to. This was via Boxing Social, who has obviously fought Bivol, sparred with Beterbiev, and this is what he had to say about the clash.
Well, I used to think Bivol was I still think Bivol was the best. Bivol was elite, but now I've seen that, and I felt Bivol doesn't hit as hard as what I think he needs to keep Beterbiev off. I've sparred Beterbiev. I know how hard Beterbiev hits in 16 ounces. I wouldn't like to take them shots in 10 ounces. I don't know, man. Bivol's a boxer through and through, and he'll be happy to stay in there and box it off if it can be done. But I'm excited for that fight. I'm sitting on the fence.
So obviously, Lyndon Arthur, we saw him lose pretty convincingly to Bivol, and obviously never really looked like that was a fight he was going to compete in. But interestingly, now he's felt the power of Bivol and obviously knows what Beterbiev is capable of in sparring. He questions whether or not Bivol will have it in him to keep Beterbiev off. How good is this fight? I mean, it is like the perfect boxing fight for me.
It is.
You've got
It's
someone
got the potential to be one of the best fights we've ever seen.
You've got a cruiserweight who you could confidently say nobody will outbox in the cruiserweight division. He might get outpowered, he might get out, but I don't think anyone can outbox Dmitry Bivol in terms of his technique, his ability. And then you've got Beterbiev, who is the hardest bastard in the cruiserweight division.
Light heavyweight, ain't it?
Yeah, light heavyweight.
Is it light heavyweight? Sorry, I was thinking, yeah, cool. No, because that was it. They were talking. They've both spoken about moving up to cruiserweight. That's why I was getting confused. But even no one in the light heavyweight division.
No.
You could put Beterbiev in the cruiserweight division and he'd be the hardest bastard in the cruiserweight division.
Imagine this, though. Whoever wins this fight, they vacate straight away and just move up to heavyweight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's realistic. They're going to move up to
cruiserweight.
And then
there's no money in cruiserweight, so they just bypass that and come up to heavyweight.
I don't know. There's some decent fighters at cruiserweight.
I would absolutely love Jayopataya versus Beterbiev.
Okay.
Imagine it would be
that name didn't come.
It would be an unstoppable object versus an immovable object. Like Jayopataya, big overhand right into Beterbiev, who we've never seen even look remotely phased by anything. What a fight that would be! What a fight!
So many good fights.
I can't wait to watch that fight June 1st, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got that. We've got Ryan Pocock, Ethan George. Hopefully finish around 10:30. Quickly get home.
Do you know what, actually? Now you've said that, the Ethan George, Ryan Pocock fight mirrors the Beterbiev Bivol fight a little bit.
They do.
In terms of style-wise.
50-50.
You've got a taller fighter, a more technical fighter, got more of an engine, versus a fighter who'll come forward, doesn't look like they can get hurt. We'll see who wins it.
Correct, brother.
But I think we're all overlooking I feel like we've been so focused on
no one's talking about
Fury, on the 5v5, on what AJ's going to do next, on all of these different fights that we've just kind of completely overlooked the fact that two of whoever wins that fight will be up there in the argument for pound best or pound for pound top 5 or whatever.
Make sure to put that in my questions.
And it's going to be interesting. It's not one that you get to see too often.
No. Did they do the rematch straight away as well, straight after?
Depends on how the fight goes, probably, isn't it?
This has got the making of being fight of the year.
Oh, definitely.
They're both Russian, aren't they? It was Bivol from Kazakhstan.
Bivol fights out of Russia, I believe.
Okay. Beterbiev fights out of Canada.
And Beterbiev fights out of Canada, but they are both. But Bivol's birthplace is Kazakhstan. Beterbiev's birthplace is Russia. So they are technically both Russian in some form, but not
Russia versus Russia.
Near enough, yeah.
Wow. I can't believe. To be honest, I can't believe that when you talk about that card on June 1st, you don't think about Bivol Beterbiev, do you?
No.
All you think about is the 5v5.
Yeah, imagine a day where we get to see Nick Bull-Rayford, Bivol Beterbiev, Wilder Zhang, Hrgovic Dubois, like
so good.
Hamza Shiraz, Willie Hutchinson, just Craig Richards, just so many huge names.
Yeah.
What a fight that's going to be. What a fight, or what a night.
Hopefully it's 20 quid as well.
To be fair.
As well, we're going to be there from like 9:30 in the morning until midnight. Like, it's going to be a long day. There's a lot of fights.
Do you reckon they just have the 5v5 and then they do Beterbiev, Bivol? And no one in the card fights?
I don't know. Maybe.
They might have one or two
Yeah.
before the 5v5, I'm guessing.
Maybe, yeah.
They probably have like one Queensberry undercard fight, one Matchroom undercard.
Do you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to go out on a limb here. They need to stick Brandon Scott on the undercard. Just because I think he suits the Saudi show.
Ring soon, so.
He suits the Saudi shows in terms of how much time, detail, effort they put into the build-up of the fights. With the style, with the character. I think it works. Stick him on there. Don't know who against. Don't care.
Imagine him running around in some
superhero Spider-Man.
With Turkey Alashik in the background.
Unreal content. Unreal.
What a bloke.
Speaking of a man and Spider-Man, Sonny Edwards, we've spoken about him a couple of times. He seems to be the busiest man in boxing at the moment. He's on every fighter's corner. He's signing as people's managers. He's commentating. But the one thing he hasn't done since his loss is fight. But June 29th, getting back in the ring against Adrian Curiel for the IBF World Light Flyweight Championship. Sonny Edwards back in the ring. Are you excited to see him back, or do you think you'd rather just see him cornerman commentating?
I can't believe he's fighting this.
I can't wait.
Curiel, this is going to be some fight. It's going to be in his backyard. Curiel, he could have had an easy fight over in the UK. Oh no. He's going to go back to Arizona where he lost, and he's going to fight probably one of the toughest persons in the division. Yeah, and it's a proper 50-50.
Do you reckon it sets up? If he wins a rematch with Bam,
100%.
A world title shot on Shinga.
That's why they've put him on the card. He'll be ringside for the main event and then go in after the fight.
What's interesting, so it's
to be ringside.
It's at light.
Oh, sorry.
It's at light flyweight, I believe. It said on there. If I've read
this
that
is Box Track though.
No, this is IFL TV's tweet. Ooh, said it was.
They're even worse.
Light flyweight. Is that wrong? Because surely that means that it's a jump down for. That's a jump down for.
It's not even on Box Track yet.
No, I don't think it is, but that would be a jump down for Sonny Edwards, and I don't even know where Adrian Curiel sits. I thought he was
bigger,
like featherweight or something. It'd be a long jump down. I'm gonna double check that one, but we'll pretend that's not that for a minute. If you talk about Sonny Edwards
or Superfly, maybe
Sonny Edwards getting back in the ring, is it a worry because he has been out for quite a while?
Nah, he'd be fine. I think he beats Curiel.
It's a tough fight. Did you see the signing?
Fight, but
Eddie Hearn was telling him it's a 50-50.
Yeah,
but
he's got enough. I reckon he's.
It's the time in his career where he's got to be in them fights now.
Yeah.
And the only person that's beat him is Bam Rodriguez, who's probably the best fighter of the division.
And that's the sort of fighter, like I always say, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. There's no shame in losing to him, is there?
No, I don't. I can't see anywhere that there's. I don't know why IFL TV have said that it would be a.
They just
create a title fight. Maybe I've. Apologies, if you're listening. That is possibly wrong, but anyway, a good fight nonetheless.
He's in the Dragon's Den, though, ain't he?
Yeah, big time.
Arizona is going to have. That was an all Mexican main event, so there's going to be loads of Mexicans there. He didn't have to take this fight, but fair play to him for taking it, and yeah, hopefully he can get the win.
I'm not sure how arsed Sonny Edwards is, though. He seems a little bit. I think he enjoys having his back up against the wall. I think he enjoys playing that role.
He did say though that the last time he went there that he had a load of fans. So
yeah, maybe he's all right. Yeah. Maybe he backs his support.
That's what you want to see though with a lot of Brits now. Get them over to America, get them that experience of fighting over there, because that's what I hope Zelfa Barett does. I want to see him over in America. Rihanna Dixon maybe, and also Brandon Scott. Can you imagine him over in America as well?
God, yeah, that would be good. It would be good.
You just have to have security just for him.
And then to move on to this weekend's fights, a fighter who I'm sure we'll be seeing in outside the UK at some point soon, possibly even out in Saudi Arabia, Sam Noakes, 13-0, facing Ivan Mendy for the EBU European light belt. Sam Noakes goes into the fight, 13 fights, 13 knockouts. Is this a case of same again for Sam Noakes, or do you think this is a more difficult challenge for him?
It's a good fight. Really good fight. Another 50-50.
I think he gets another stoppage.
Really?
Personally.
Mendy's tough.
He is tough.
He's
got 48 wins on his record. Yes, 6 losses and a draw, but 48 wins. You don't get to 48 wins by accident. Now that takes some serious fighting. I think the problem is you look at it and a lot of those losses on his record are when he finally stepped up in level. And yeah, I definitely see Sam Noakes winning this, but I think it will be a slightly more difficult test than he's seen in the past.
A late finish, would you say, or do you reckon? Your call. Whatever happens at your call, they need to move your call and put it all around the UK, because all the fights that go there. Phew,
it's just the iconic venue, isn't it? Always has good
absolutely.
fights. But
I think we need to get there sometime this year.
I think he wins Saturday. Obviously, already European champion. Next step's a world title. I think they stick him in for one of the vacant lightweight world titles. Get him
him and Gav
title shot somewhere. And
yeah, could do. To be fair, I think he's just a really good fighter, Sam Noakes.
Yeah, if we're talking about Gavin Gunn, I reckon whoever loses this fight, no disrespect to Gavin, but I reckon he fights them then. So Mendy Gwyn could be a decent fight for him, a comeback fight anyway.
Yeah, I think the thing with Gavin now is obviously now he's lost that fight with Mark Chamberlain, that it's a slightly difficult position he's in terms of pitching him against an opponent, because you want to fight. He's a big name, so you want to fight that has a big draw, but also he hasn't necessarily proven yet that he deserves a fight of the top echelon. The Kambosos Jr., Shako Stevenson, people like this. So he's in that awkward middle ground. But yeah, I think he'll get himself a good fight soon. Maybe Maxie Hughes is another Brit that you could put him in with.
I wonder who recommended that fight.
I don't know.
To you. I wonder.
Just popped into my head.
Hate when that happens, bro.
Yeah. So we all saying Sam Noakes on the win on that one, or are you back in the Frenchman?
No.
Yeah.
Sam Noakes is some fighter, very special.
And then a mental fight, an interesting fight, and a fight that is headlining the card. We're going to be doing our predictions on the Boxing News app. So get your apps up on your phone
like this part of the week
to do the predictions.
You need to start winning.
You need to start doing better with them. Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia.
Does it happen?
In the Barclays Centre, New York.
Does it happen?
I'd be shocked.
Or do they pull him out?
No.
I don't think it can get called off now.
I reckon it can.
See
what happens at the weigh-in. Or no, not the weigh-in, the press
but
conference. See how he's acting.
I don't think it will.
I've deleted the app.
Oh, of course. So, the first fight on that card is Bektemir Melikuziev. Obviously, there is more fights on the card. This is just on the Boxing News app. For that one, I'm going to jump straight into it. Super middleweight. I'm going to go for a Melikuziev knockout. I back him to get the performance against Pierre Debombe. Or Debombe. I don't know my French that well.
What have we gone for? Stoppage.
Melikuziev stoppage.
I've gone for Melikuziev by decision.
Okay.
It's a tough fight. This French guy, what's his name?
Debombe.
Yeah, well done. I don't want to butcher his name.
Debombe.
He's on 3 stoppages in a row.
Undefeated fighter as well.
And he's beaten... Oh no, he hasn't beaten that. I thought it was someone. So yeah, I'm agreeing with Ben. Points. And that's where we lose this week.
Well,
well done, Sam. You've won already.
He's a man that goes into it with a 76.9% knockout percentage. So to go for
he's been checking all the stats
finish,
up and everything.
Yeah, mate, I'm not messing around. You've leveled up with me. I'm not messing around. I had to wait until you locked in your choices before I said that, because I know what Harry's like.
I beg.
The next one, Arnold Barboza Jr. versus Sean McComb. Super lightweight, 10 rounds. Difficult fight for McComb, obviously British fighter coming on over to America. Doesn't necessarily put you into the fight with the best track record. What are you boys going for this one?
I've gone with Barboza Jr. by decision.
I've done the same. What about you, Harry?
Good question.
Yeah,
I need to do my research because
take him like half
for a
hour to work it out.
man who takes so long with his answers on the episode, your record is not good.
You said he was British as well. You ain't done your research.
He's Irish.
Yeah,
and
British
and Republic of Ireland is a
Nationality
part
Ireland.
of.
Yeah,
Great
but
Britain.
on his flag, nationality. Are you Welsh or are you British, Ben?
Welsh.
Exactly.
Okay, if I offer you a British title
Exactly.
fight, are you saying no to it?
I'm too good for that.
Oh yeah,
European
of
at least.
course.
Yeah. Barbosa's. What have you've gone points?
Points.
Yeah.
It's 10 rounds.
10 rounds.
It's a bit boring.
I swear most of this podcast takes up him just making a game
Just
prediction.
him. Yeah. It's just me filling the gaps.
I'll go stoppage.
Ooh, big call.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. Surely you won't need as much time for this one.
Haney destroys him within 6 rounds.
There we go. What are you going for, Ben?
Garcia.
You
No,
actually?
I'm only joking.
I actually thought you were for a second then.
We'll
No,
take your first answer on this
Devin
program.
Haney by stoppage. Late stoppage, I think, but stoppage.
Now,
I think Garcia will have a couple of early rounds, start quicker. But I think over the course of the fight, Haney will grind him down eventually. But it's an interesting fight, I think. A lot of people are going with Haney, but
They've fought
3
before.
and 3 in amateurs.
yeah.
But this is a different Ryan Garcia. Back then, Ryan Garcia didn't have all these
Do you
problems that he's
see
got.
any opportunity for him to win the fight, though?
He quit against Gervonta Davis, and I can see him doing the same on Saturday night.
I'm gonna...
You still haven't made your...
Yeah, but
you going
Gervonta
about...
Davis-
you going about me taking
Well, you were
my
just
sweet
talking. I
time.
was letting you talk. I mean,
Look at you in the corner over there.
I could
Come
have
on.
been... The smart thing to do here would be go for Haney knockout along with Ben, so that then I put it down to the
Along with me as
Malakuziev
well.
fight. But I'm not going to be boring. I'm going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a Haney points decision. I think Ryan Garcia is going to do the
I
distance.
was close to going decision, but
I don't think that
When did Tank stop Garcia? Was it late?
7th, I
Yeah.
think it was. I don't know if Haney's got
he's probably the best fighter in the division. Though. There's no shame in losing.
I don't know if Haney's got either the power or the impetus to stick it on Garcia to get the finish. I think he could get the finish, but I think he might well just comfortably outbox him, make him look a bit silly.
I wouldn't be
jump around the
totally
ring.
shocked if Ryan Garcia won.
I would be shocked.
If I wake up
but
Sunday
it's not
morning and I
impossible.
see Ryan Garcia has won that fight, fair play to him.
Yeah,
But I can't see it happening. There's no way.
I'm going to stay up torture, I think, so I'm hoping it's good.
When is it?
Are
This
you
Saturday?
Are you paying?
Oh, well,
$19.99?
we're getting back late from the.
Yeah.
We're getting back from the
Definitely at 4 o'clock.
from the boxing, aren't we?
We haven't even talked about that.
Lanethley.
What a card.
Yeah, it looks like a really good card. I think the plan is we're going to have a chat to Dan Francis, the matchmaker, at some point this week to preview that one. But Harry, I'll give you the opportunity. One fighter off that card.
Jordan Withers. Jordan Withers. The Welsh Canelo.
That was quick.
I've got all the notes down. All the notes.
What about you, Ben? One fighter off that card that you.
The other one as well. Can I say 2?
You can say the second one after we've said that, in case you know about it.
You just take up the old card if you want.
Shut up, man.
The one I'm going to go for is, I'm going to go Morgan McIntosh because I think he lost.
That was my one as well.
He lost last time out. On a fortunate thing, he didn't make weight. There was various boxing politics around that loss that don't necessarily reflect his ability. I think he's a really good fighter. I think it was actually quite a close fight in that fight. Even though he lost it, I think he didn't look silly. So I think, Morgan McIntosh will get the win, and I think
100%.
It'll be a
the
good
guy
fight.
he's fighting made his pro debut in January.
I've got my
Nathan
one.
Darby.
Anyway. I've got my one.
Yeah.
And I'll give a shout out to the person who had the best fight on the last card we went to watch, Ashley Johnson.
Yeah, trained by Enzo Macronelli. Like you said, had an unbelievable fight against what was her name? Jamilet Vallejos.
Well done.
And brilliant fight, as we've said multiple times on this podcast. And I think it'll be an exciting one, that one, to see.
It's only a 4-rounder
back in it.
I was about to say she's stepping down from 6
6
rounds. Yeah,
Oh, it was a 6-rounder last time,
How many
wasn't
times do you see someone make their debut and just go 6 rounds?
Not
instead
often.
of 4, yeah.
Not often.
She has got a kickboxing background.
Okay,
Yeah,
maybe that's why. And her coach is Enzo Macronelli.
Yeah.
Can I say my last one?
Interestingly, the person she's fighting this Saturday is fighting Jamilette.
Yeah, I saw that.
In a few weeks' time.
In a couple of weeks' time. Be interesting. What were you going to say, Harry? What was your huge point? You're going to pick another fighter?
Angelo Dragon. I think I've said his name.
Angelo Dragon.
Yeah, Carmarthen. Yeah. I think you boys seen him last.
No,
never last fight.
Last time.
No, this will be the first time we watch him.
Though he has beaten.
He's beaten Casey Bradnam.
Casey Bradnam, yeah, who we did watch.
He's fought twice for the Welsh title, and guess what his nickname is? The Italian Stallion.
That is good.
What a nickname! Ooh. There's some good, decent nicknames on the card, mine.
Does he not train at Stallion ABC? Is that not? I think that's his gym, so I think that's why he's gone for it. The Italian Stallion, because he trains out of Stallion. Is his boxing gym. I could be wrong in saying that. Apologies.
He's got the Camden Caretaker as a nickname on the card as well.
Oh, that's good. I like that one.
Josh Melly.
It'd be good to...
some of the names on these cards, mine.
I don't know Josh's nickname.
Money.
Yeah.
Josh Money Melly.
What about, forgetting the biggest name, though? The Welsh Canelo.
Yeah, good nickname.
What a way to end.
What a way to end.
You boys are so lucky that you're watching them this weekend. I'm definitely not jealous.
We'll record it, Finn.
We'll record it forward to getting to another live show, though. We got obviously this one Saturday, and then top tier show the weekend after. So
yeah, that one looks proper good.
And then a couple of weekends after that, fingers crossed, we'll have another show that
don't look at me, boys. It's all sorted.
We can't necessarily say for sure now because we don't know for sure. And then other than that,
I'll be there.
You'll be there, will you? Okay.
You can come along. So.
I really hope so.
If Ben carries on the way he's acting, then he can walk.
I don't know why you think he runs the podcast.
Harry Tovey runs the media.
I do.
He is control.
For the big shows.
For the big shows. Fair enough. Other than that, I don't think we've got anything else to talk about. I think that pretty much covers it all this week. We do have an episode coming with a special guest soon as well.
Forget about all that for a second. Rashid Omar.
Course.
What a knockout this weekend.
Yeah, Rashid Omar got a knockout, trains with Tony Borg, and it is one of the cleanest left hands I think you'll ever see. Absolutely flattens the guy with a lovely straight left. Beautiful punch. Yeah, fair play. He did deserve a shout. If you look it up on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, I'm sure you'll find it. Really good punch. But yeah, we like I said, we've got a guest coming on the podcast soon. So keep an eye open on the channel for that one. Anything else from you boys before we finish up?
Nope.
No, that's all good.
Lovely. We'll catch you all guys in another week for another episode.